Hello everyone, I am santhosh.dk, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Canara Engineering College, Mangaluru. I am going to discuss data structures with C laboratory course with subject code 18CSL38. In this course, we will be conducting 12 experiments, and any study material regarding this course is available on my website. Along with that, you'll also get a study material on C language and varieties of other subjects which I handle. Also, you'll get the opportunity to use online compiler in my website. You can run the code on the go. Let's discuss experiment number 1. The experiment number 1 has this problem definition. According to syllabus, we have to design, develop and implement a menu-driven program. Menu-driven program, please concentrate. I have told about menu-driven program in the prerequisite video that menu-driven means we are going to use switch statement. Menu-driven program in C for the following array operations. Yes, we have seen already the basics of arrays. Here we have to use a single dimensional array, and how to read the array, how to display the array, and what are the properties of array we have seen in the prerequisite video. Let's see what all the operation the question demands. First, what we have to do, we have to create an array of n integer elements, display of array elements with suitable headings, insert an element called ELEM at a given valid position POS, delete an element at a given valid position POS, exit. These are all the 5 operations our menu-driven program should support on array operations, and this we have to achieve with the help of functions. And what is function, how to create a function, what are the properties of functions, how good it is, and what are the advantages of functions we have discussed in the prerequisite video. Here you can notice they have given some names called ELEM, POS. Whenever we are writing a program, we have to make use of these inside our program as a variables, and they are also told we have to use n integer elements. These are all the variable names already given by the question, so better to use the same rather than using a different variables whenever we are taking an element, whenever we are going with a position, and whenever we are reading a n value. Let's implement these one by one. For that, first we are going to use some global variables over here. So global variables means it can be accessed anywhere in the program. That should be done immediately after our header file inclusion. So now what all I am having as a global variables? First I am using an array. So I am using an array with 20 elements. So it means maximum I can store 21 elements in my array. More than that, if you want, then you have to change the size of this. And they have question only, in question only they have asked you have to create n integer array, so that's why I'm going to call it as a integer array. Next, to keep track of n value, I'm going to take n and element and position to read the element and store it, and to store the position as it is given in the question we have taken. And I is the one which is going to use when you are going to go with the looping statements. So when you are going with the index of array, so we are going to use I. These are all the declarations I did for our program. Next, we'll go one by one problems, and we have to use functions here. So I'm taking each problems with the individual function. The first problem is going to tell us is create an array of n integer elements. So I have to create an array of n integer elements. This is going to named as a create function, and I'm just creating, I'm not going to return anything. That's why I'm going to make it as a void, because I have used all global variables here rather than local variables. If I'm going to use local variable, then I have to go with the concept of parameter passing, but here I don't need those parameters, because when the variables are global, anywhere in the program they can be accessed. Next, inside that I need n value before I proceed creating an array. What I need is how many elements. Even though 20 is the maximum limit of my array, this is how I have declared my array, right? A of 20. So it might be a maximum limit, but on each run you may give 5 element, you may give 6 element, or you may give 10 element. So it may vary from one run to another run, but maximum number I can give up to 20. So for that, what we are going to do is first we will read the value of n. Let me take an example. Right now n, whatever I have entered, n value is 5, and I'm going to ask you to enter the elements one by one. So here let me take those 5 elements are 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. These are all the 5 elements I read from the keyboard and I have stored in the array. Next, I want to display them. So display, as I told in the prerequisites, display is very simple when you know how to read. Only simple changes you should know to do. Here what I am doing is, they have told with a suitable heading, that's why I am adding the array elements are a proper heading. And after that, what I am going to do is, I am going to take up each array value at the respected position. For example, I have given 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. If I want to display them, how I can display? So a of 0 is having 10. A of 1 is having 20. Like this, what I am going to do here is, I am going to display one by one elements by their array name and their respective position, so that it will be easy for us to check when I am inserting where our element, new element should be added, in between which element it's going to be added, when we are clear about the position. That is why I'm going to display like this. We have finished how to create array and how to display the elements of the array. And let's see how to insert an element, which is ELEM, at a given valid position, POS. To do this, actually, as I said, what all the values I read I have listed over here. And consider now, what first I want to add is, I have to check whether the given position is valid or not. For example, let's take the given position over here is 16. Okay, the POS is 16, and now I might be having in my array A, this is array A, till 20 locations I might be having. But if I wish to insert at 16, but it is not a contiguous allocation. As we are aware, the array is a contiguous allocation. There will be some empty places which will be having some garbage values. These will be having some garbage values over here. So these are not a valid values. So I cannot store the value at the position 16. So I can assume right now that I am having only 5 locations and I have to insert at present out of 0 to 5. For that, what I can do is, I can check this. If the given position and this, the maximum number, is already stored in n. You remember that we have asked for enter the number of elements in the create array, which is n. I have told you I am going to give 5 as the number over there. Now what I do over here is, I will check this position with n value. Let me write a condition for this. If the given position is greater than or equal to n plus 1. What is n plus 1? It is 5 plus 1, 6. Then I will tell invalid position. You are not going to give a, you have not given a valid position, it's invalid. Otherwise, if the value of the position, for example, right now I have read 16, 16 is greater than or equal to 6, yes, it is true, and it's going to tell me it's an invalid position. Right now, consider a situation that I have not given 16. I'm going to change the position value with a smaller than 5, so that let's check. Now let's take a valid position. So when n is 5, valid position I'll take as 3. The position is 3. It means I have to store a new element. Let me take a element also. Let me take a element as 8000, some random number I'm just taking over here for the discussion. So now this 8000 should sit at the place of 40. Now what if I directly store like this? We know how to work with arrays. So this is the array name. How to get the respective position? We'll go with the position POS. And what if I store the value ELEM? Now A is this and the location is 3. If I'm going to store 8000 over here, you can notice I'm going to lose 40. Actually question demands us to we have to insert, we should not overwrite. So for that what I have to do is, rather than overwriting, I should go with the shifting. How I can shift? First I have to see here I have an empty location. Can I shift this to this first before shifting this, so that I can preserve this? So now 50 has come over here. Even now 50 is at this position and I have to shift 40 to the place of 50. Now what I am doing, I am shifting this over here. Yes, it's going to overwrite 50 with 40. Need not to worry because I already preserved 50. Now can I do this? A of position is equal to element. Can I write 8000 here? Yes. Now this is perfect. So for this what I do is I have to shift. To shift this I have to write some more statements, like I will start from, you can notice I started shifting from n location towards the lower locations. So what I do is, let me take a loop where I will call this as I as n, and I'm going to check I is greater than or greater than position, and I'm going to increment it. Now when I is n, it means n is 5, right? So I is n, what I can do is, rather than that I'll just modify I is equal to n minus 1 is best. Yeah, now I is n minus 1, it means 4. At 4 I was having 50 before, right? So now what I will do, I will write a of I plus 1. What is I plus 1? I is 4 plus 1 is 5. I got this location. I plus 1, I was here, and plus 1 takes me to 5th position. Now what I want over there, I want to store I, a of I value, that is 50 was there here, I have shifted to this, right? And this, after this, yeah, here also I made a mistake. Rather than increment I have to give here decrement, so I have to reduce. Now what I will do, once after I reducing, I will become what? I was 4, I will become 3, and I have to give greater than or equal to over here, so that I have to shift this value also. So now 3 is smaller, greater than or equal to 3 is true, and a of I plus 1, that is 4th location, a of I is 3rd location, which was having 40. 40 is shifted to this place. Next I is decremented, I is 2 now, and 2 is greater than or equal to 3 is false, it's going to stop. Now I have done a shifting task. Then I will write this line over here, a of position is equal to element. So now I have stored 8000 at the place of 3, at the position 3, and now I am having total elements are 1 2 3 4 5 6. It means previous my n was 5, now it is 6. So for that, what I have to do, I have to increase the value of n. So it is going to add up one more element over there. The code looks like this. As I said, first I have to check for a valid position, and I read the position. I have checked for the valid position, and if it is not valid, let's give a error message: insertion is not possible or invalid position. It's up to your interest, whatever you want you can write over there, but it should be a meaningful sentence. Next, no, it's a valid position, let me in. So I, after that I realized it's a valid position, then only read the elements, read the element to be inserted at that position. Once after I got this element, as I did, I have to shift the elements first before I am inserting. This is the line which is going to insert, and these two are the line which are going to perform shifting operation, shifting towards the right. Now what I did, I have taken this I as n minus 1 till I is greater than or equal to position I decrement, and at the next location I have stored the previous location value. Finally, once after I finish shifting, I am going to store the element at the given position, and I am updating n value. This is also very important because while displaying we are working on n value. If you are not going to update this, even though value is inserted, you are going to lose the last element. That's why it's mandatory to update. Next, similarly, how to delete. This is what is my updated array after inserting 8000. Now let me delete 8000. Before that, again it's going to tell you have to go with a valid position. Yes, as we did like in the previous case, insertion, we have to check for a valid position condition by going with whether the given position is greater than or equal to n plus 1. Then you are going to tell it's an invalid position, deletion not possible. Otherwise, you will continue. Now, need not to ask for an element now because you are performing a deletion operation. You are having a position, consider position is 3 again. Position is 3. Let's delete this. So directly we can delete this, but if we are going to delete this, after that this place will be empty. So for that, what I have to do, I have to shift 40 back here and I have to shift 50 back here. Again, number of elements will be decreased by 1. So what I have to do, n minus minus. It is exactly like insertion, but the only one thing different over here is we are going to performing shifting back to the left side along with the decrement, and we are performing deletion over here. Let's see how to do this. As we did in the previous case, I told you first I have to delete this. Let me store this in an element. Element variable is now free, it is, we are not using it, right? So what I will do, a of position will be stored. It means I am going to preserve that 8000 for just for display purpose. I am going to store that 8000 in element. I will display at the end, or else you can display immediately and you can ignore this initialization also, or assignment also. Yeah. Now what I can do, how to shift. To perform the shift operation, what I will do is I will go with the same for loop. It is little opposite to the previous for loop. In the previous for loop, what I did, I is equal to n minus 1 I did. Here what I will do is I is equal to position I will do. If you know how to insert, aram you can write how to delete also. So next, after this, what I am going to do is, the condition is I is smaller than, or yeah, I is smaller than n, or smaller than or equal to n minus 1, both are same. So now I am going from lowest number to highest number. Let me increase. Now what I have to do is, in the previous case I have written a of I plus 1 is equal to, in the previous insertion I did a of I plus 1 is equal to a of I, but here it's a reverse, deletion, right? That's why I have to interchange them. A of I is equal to a of I plus 1. So I am shifting it back, right? Once after it is done, so what you have to do is you have to reduce the number of elements, and then what you have to do, display this is the element which I have deleted, because you have to tell what you have deleted, right? So that's the right way to tell this is what I have deleted. So let's check how whether it works or not, this logic. Yeah, now I position is 3 and n is 6. Yes, and I plus plus, let it be 3 is smaller than 6. Yes, it is true, and I'm in. And at the third position I'm getting the fourth position value. Fourth position value is 40. It is overwriting 8000, and 8000 is already stored in element before itself. And now I is increased, I plus plus, it is now 4. Yeah. Now at the fourth position, what I have to do, I have to bring it a of I plus 1, that is 4 plus 1 is 5. Yeah, I have to bring 50 over here. Now 50 is shifted to this. Again I have incremented I, it is becoming 5 now. 5 is smaller than n, 6, it is true, but I don't have any more elements over here. So what I can do is I will make this condition as I is smaller than n minus 1. And now 5 is smaller than 5, it is false, it's going to stop shifting, and I'm going to decrease n value by 1. Now n is number of element was 6, now it has become 5, and now I'm having 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Yes, now again you can display and check whether it is deleted or not, and it's also going to display which element is deleted. Let's see how the code is. See, you can check out this part is as like our insertion condition checking, and this part I have added I have storing the respective deleting element and the element variable. This is optional, rather than this directly you can display over here itself. Then don't forget to shift back. For that, what I did, as I told you, I have written a loop and I'm deleting. And here I have done n is equal to n minus 1, both are same. N minus minus or n is equal to n minus 1, both are same. This is how we are going to perform first 4 operations specified by the problem statement. Next, the last one is we have to come out, exit. To come out, we need not to write any function. We can make use of return statement or exit 0. We can write that function directly without writing our own. We can write that with using only one statement rather than writing a different function for it. And we'll see how our main function looks like, because we know that in C language main is the entry point of the program, right? So the main function has something like, as I told you, it's a menu driven program. I need a variable called choice, because I'm going to give you list in menu list where you have to choose one of the menu option, then only your choices are going to execute. And this has to work until I'm going to end it, until I'm going to tell go out, it has to work. That's why I have used infinite loop over here. This will be until I say stop, it has to work. So that is done by this infinite loop, and rest all these are just a printf statement where I'm displaying all the choices, and your job is to choose any one among them. If you are going to type in other number, we are having a default case inside the switch, it is going to tell invalid choice. If you select the choice one, it's going to call the create function. You can check out the first option is for creating a array, second option is for displaying a array, third one is for inserting, and fourth one is for delete, and fifth one is exit. See, as I told in the prerequisites, every case in switch statement should be break, it should be stopped immediately once after the completion of that, otherwise it will continue with the next statements, next cases. It should not happen. And for that, what we have done is I am going to break every cases, and along with that I have told you these cases can be either an integer number or it can be a character. I have used integer numbers. It depends on the situation. We may use character in upcoming programs. And fifth option, I said you, I don't want any extra function to be written over here. There is a statement called return. I can make use of that. That will take me out of the program once I opt for exit. And if I give any other choice rather than 1 to 4. So sorry, 1 to 5, it's going to tell it's an invalid choice. And for default case, it's not mandatory to break because we don't have anything to continue over here. In this switched case, automatically it's going to be the end, it's going to come out of it. And next, return 0, because the function is a int main, it expects an integer value to be returned. I'm going to come out of the program. And these are all the reference books I have used to discuss all these concepts. If you want to learn in detail and more about these concepts, you can refer these textbooks from your library, or you can buy it. Next, I'm going to give a demonstration using code blocks. It's an open source cross-platform IDE. You can use it on either on Windows, Mac machines, or on any Linux flavored operating system. This is a freeware. You need not to pay for it, and it is the one beautiful IDE where your C and C++ programs are going to be run without paying any taxes. And it is having higher version. What I have specified over is the lower version only. I am not I think as per my knowledge, the higher version is 17 plus, I think. So but why I am going for 13.12 is because when you download this from the given link over here, the higher versions are not coming with the GCC library. You might have heard about GCC library when you are there in a first year. There you are using a GCC compiler to compile and run the programs. Here, that GCC library will not come with the higher versions of code block. You have to add the GCC library separately. Again, you are now beginning with your lab, so I don't want you to waste your time with those things. Better you can go with a lower version, and these versions are not going to play a major role when you are going with the simple programs like this. When you are going for a complex implementation, yes, versions also going to play a major role, but we are doing a simple programs, so you need not to worry about the versions. Let's go with this, which is going to come up with the GCC library and all the prerequisites which is required to run a C program on any of the platform. As I said, it's a cross platform. You can use on any platform to run your C program. And next I will take you to demonstration, where how we are going to on the demonstration I'll tell you how to create a project, and how to open a project, and how to run the program. And if there is any error, I have not shown any errors. If there is any error in the next coming programs, I'll show you how to, where you will get an error and how to solve them. And I have in this demonstration I have explained the first program with complete all the menu options are utilized, and I have checked for all the possible conditions. Let's go to demonstration.
When you are new to code blocks, what you have to do is you have to create a new project, and you have to select a console application to perform the C programming data structure lab, and choose Go and select the language C. We are coding in C, and after that enter the project title, whatever the project you want to perform, you have to give the name. And when you are doing this first time, this path will be empty, and if you are going to give next and finally you are going to get an error message. For that, what you have to do is, here this is also empty. When you started first time with the code block, you have to choose the location where you want to store the files. So better to choose documents and give next. And finally it's going to take up the GNU GCC compiler which you have used in first year. So next, give finish. It's going to create a project for you. So inside source you will be having a main where by default a hello world program will be there. So here remove this and start typing your program. So I have already done. I'll open the previous program project which I have already done. Yeah, this is my experiment which I have explained just before. So here you can notice the code, whatever I have explained over there. the same code is used over here. I have used some global variables, that is array n, element I, and position. The same things are there. I said the function declaration or prototype when I was discussing about it. So these are all the four functions. Actually, we have five tasks, four functions we have written. The fifth task is achieved with the help of return statement. Let's see how the main is. Initially I'm going to show the main, later on the respect other functions. In the main, as we have seen, there will be a choice because we are going to do the menu driven program with the help of switch statement. Next we are going to use while statement. As I said, the while statement is used for infinite loop. Until I come out of the program, it should repeat. So then I'll be asking you to enter the choice, and choice will be stored in a choice variable. Based on the choice you have entered, the function call will be made. It might be a create function, or it might be a display function, or it might be an insert, or it might be a delete. Based on the choice number you have given, it's going to go to the respective switch. Or else if you have given 5, it's going to come out of the program. And by default, it's going to tell it's an invalid selection what you did if you are going to give the other numbers. Next, how the create is going to work. As we have seen this, it's going to ask you and enter the number of elements, and you are going to enter. It will be stored in n. Then it's going to iterate through all those n elements, and it will ask you to enter, and it's going to store in the array with a respective position. Once after that, if you want to display, you can go for a display option. It's going to display with the position and the value. Next, insert. It's going to ask you a valid position. It's going to check whether it's a valid or not. If it is valid, it's going to ask you to enter the element. After that, it's going to perform the shifting towards right. Once after shifting is done, when there is a position available to store the value, the respective value will be stored on the position. Then the number of elements is increased, so we are going to perform it as n plus plus. Similarly, delete. It's going to ask you the element to be deleted from the specific position. If it is a valid position, then it's going to allow you to get inside the delete code. Otherwise, it's not going to allow you to get inside the delete code. Here you can notice, first I'm going to take up the respective position value on the element as I told in the before, and after that I'll perform the left shift, and I'm going to decrease the number by 1, and finally I'll display the element. This is how the program is written. Let's run the program. Either you can directly run or you can build and run. It's better to build and run rather than directly running. Whenever you have updated the program, whenever you receive any errors, it's better to save the program and continue. Let's run the program. See, as it is told, it's a menu driven program. It's going to give you the choices. So let me create array, enter the size of the array. As I told you, I'll go with a 5 and enter the elements. I insist better you guys give the elements one by one rather than separating them by space, because when you are going with the space you have to count how many elements are there, but when you are going to give with the enter, automatically program will end once those many elements are going to be program will stop reading the elements once those many elements has been entered by the keyboard. Let's check whether I have entered all the elements. Yes, I have entered all the elements. Let's check whether I have stored it. Yes, now I'll go with to display. The choice number is 2. Yes, the elements are displayed with position. A of 0 is having 10, A of 1 is having 20, 2 is having 30, 3 is having 40, 4 is having 50. As I said, in computer, memory address starts with 0. We have to start utilizing the memory locations from 0. So next, let me perform the insert operation. I have chosen option 3, and let me check whether my program will check for the valid position or not. I'm going to give 20. It's going to tell insertion is not possible. Why? Because it's invalid position. Now what I have to do? Again try for insertion, give a valid position. As we have done in the explanation, I'll go with the valid position is 3, and it's going to ask enter the element to be inserted. What the value we have used in the discussion, the same I am going to use 8000. Now this element is inserted. Let's check whether it is inserted or not. Yes, at the third position, you can notice it is shifted 40 and it is shifted 50, and it has made a place third position where it's going to store 8000. Now, can I try with inserting one more? Yes, why not? I'll go with inserting one more. Choice is 3 and enter the position. Now I'll take the position 2. I'll give the element 1000. Yes, it is also successfully inserted. Let's check whether it is available. Yes, it is available. Let me delete the one of the element for the demo purpose. Choice is for delete. So it's asking for a valid position. We have already checked with a valid position in the previous insert function. Let me check with some 8. It's going to tell deletion not possible because it's an invalid position. Yes, now I'll try to delete 8000, which is at the position right now. You can check out over here. It is at the position 4. I'm going to give 4. So enter, the choice is 4, and I'm going to give the position is also 4, and now the element 8000 is deleted. Yes, it was at the position 4. Let's verify again by displaying the array content. Yes, at the 4th it was 8000. Right now it is removed, and I got at the 4th position 40, and at the 5th position 50. Then the last location is ignored because I have only these many elements. Let's come out of the program. This is how you have to run the program in code blocks. Thank you.